When dealing with volume of cylinders, and I mentioned this in the last video, we're going to multiply by pi, okay? And there's a reason for circles having pi, and we can talk about that later, but every time you deal with basically a circle, area, circumference, you have to multiply by pi. Pi is an irrational number, never terminates, never repeats. So, which I didn't do a good job of last time, but we really should put an approximately equal to sign because you're going to have to round as soon as you multiply by pi. Unless you leave an answer in terms of pi. So what does that mean? Well, in terms of pi means to multiply everything except for pi, and then simplify, leaving the pi symbol. So basically we just leave pi, we don't multiply by it, and then it's an exact answer. Okay? So when we do this, this means we're going to have an exact answer. No approximate sign needed. So it says find the volume of each cylinder below, both in terms of pi and rounded to the nearest tenth. Okay, so volume still equals pi times the radius squared times the height. So this is going to equal pi times the radius. Now distance from the center to the outside is 10 times 10 squared times our height. Ooh, that's really sloppy, sorry. Times our height, 15.2. Okay, and so what you do is you just multiply everything that's next to pi. Just don't include pi. So 10 squared times 15.2. Okay, so we get 1,520. So this is 1,520 pi times pi, but we don't put the times sign. That's an exact answer. Okay, and then this would be cubic millimeters. Now, when you round it, then we take this number here and then we just multiply it by pi. So times pi. There it is. There's going to be our irrational number. So if we round to the nearest tenth, it's 4,775 point, well, here's the tenth spot. I look at the 2 behind it, stays at 2. 4,775.2. See if I can remember that. 4,775.2. And again, cubic millimeters. Okay, so that's really all these are asking for here is we just want the exact answer. Okay, so we'll do these real quick. Again, volume equals pi times the radius squared times the height. Now in this case, notice this line here is our diameter. I need the radius. So if the whole thing is 16, halfway is 8. So that's going to be pi times 8 squared times height. Height is the distance between the bases. My sloppy distance there, times 7. The exact answer, we type that into a calculator. 8 squared times 7. 448. Exact answer, cubic inches. Approximate answer, times it by pi. 1,407, look at the 4 here, the 3 tells me leave it as 4. 1,407.4. 1,407.4. Okay, and the last one real quick. Same formula, I'm going to use this right here. Volume equals pi times our radius. Okay, our radius is 1.5 squared times our height. Notice this is not vertical, but it's still the distance between these two circles. 1.5 squared times 4 gives us an exact answer of 9. 9 pi, okay, times that by pi for our approximate answer, which I again have not been putting approximately equal to. It's okay because it's saying nearest tenth here, but this will be 28.2 is in the 10th spot. I look at the 7. The 7 tells us to round it to a 3. So 28.3 cubic yards. Okay, so be careful with directions in case it asks you to give an exact answer or write it in terms of pi. Okay, let's just do a few more examples then quickly. The area of the base of a cylinder is 150 square inches. If the volume is 1,050 cubic inches, what is the height? So this one we want to go back to our original formula. Volume equals capital B, area of the base, times height, the distance between the bases. it tells you that the area of the base is 150 square inches. So right here, for capital B, for area, I'm going to put 150. It tells you that the volume is 1050. So for volume, for V, I'm going to type in 1050. And what's a height? Well, we just bring down our h then, right? So now we have an equation. What are we solving for? H. What do we have to get rid of? 150. So I'm going to divide this side by 150. That gives me 1h. Whatever I do to one side, I have to do the other. Okay? And then if you take a calculator, and just for sake of time, I'm going to grab this. 1050 divided by 150, you get 7. So the height of the centimeter of the cylinder is 7 inches. Okay? All right. So now look at this one. The volume of a cylinder is 942 cubic feet. So there's the volume. Okay. And the height is 12. So we're going to use this formula, volume equals pi times the radius squared times the height, and plug in what we know. 942 is the volume, times, or equals pi, oh, I don't know what the radius is, times 12. Well, I'm just going to kind of switch things around here. 942 equals, and I'm just going to switch these two around, actually change the order, 12 pi times r squared. Divide both sides by 12 pi. And we're left with r squared equals 942 divided by 12 pi. And that's it's approximately equal to 25. So we know how to solve this problem. If it's r squared, we undo squaring with square root, and we get the radius is equal to 5 feet. Okay? Number 9 says Leanne has a cylindrical water tank in her backyard that has a diameter of 3 meters and a height of 2 meters. What is the capacity? So remember, on our first page of notes, we said volume is another word for capacity. So when it says what is the capacity, we want to know what is the volume. So cylindrical, use our formula. Volume equals pi times the radius squared times height. Plug in what you know. Well, we don't know the volume. Pi is a number, times our radius. Now be careful. This is radius. This is not diameter. But if we know the diameter is 3, then our radius is going to be half of that, 1.5. So times 1.5 squared times 2. So now we just plug that into our calculator. You know, and I guess, did it say in here? Okay. I don't know about exact answers, but it doesn't. So I am going to go 1.5 squared times 2, that's 4.5, and I'm going to times it by pi and get an answer of approximately 6.28. So we'll say the volume is I am going to recheck my calculations because something was not right. So let's try this again. So take your calculator here. Let me clear it out. Now if I go 1.5 squared, okay, and then I get times 2 times pi, we get 14, I'll say 0.14 maybe. That's a little bit better. The other answer didn't make sense. So let's go with this. 14.14. And that's cubic meters. Okay, so same formula every single time. Maybe variations on it. Fill in what you know, solve for what you don't know. So Drew and Bo both have cylindrical water bottles. Drew's water bottle has a diameter of 6 inches and a height of 7. Bo's has a diameter of 4 inches and a height of 9. Who holds more? So let's figure out Drew. Okay, so I'm going to say the volume of Drew, D there, is going to be pi times the radius squared times the height. So pi times our radius. Again, do you notice it says diameter? So remember, we take half of 6 to get 3 squared times our height of 7. And then hopefully I can, type this into a calculator correctly. 3 squared Nope. 3 squared times 7 times pi. And we get it's approximately equal to 100. I'm gonna round that to, I'll say 197.9. And then we're gonna take the volume of Bose. Okay, I'm gonna use the same equation here. Pi times our radius, diameter 4, divided by 2. And that's times 2 squared times our height of 9. So 2 times 2 is 4 times 9 times pi. And we get an answer of about 100, and I'll say 13.1. Again, approximate. Now it does say, okay, so they say whose water bottle holds more water? Well, that's going to be Drew. Now, how much more? We just have to subtract. 197.9 minus 113.1. And it holds about 84.8 cubic inches. All right, so those were some good examples of the different ways we can use the volume formula. Keep in mind, we're focusing on cylinders. Cylinders have a circle base, which is why the area of the base is area of a circle, pi r squared.